Oh, I sigh. I sigh. I wish I could get the chat back. Sigh. Set. That's what that is. Yeah, that does me no good. That does me no good. La 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 la. That does me no good. La 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 la. You've lost your chat window forever because heaven forbid you just hit a button and it come back. And everybody else doesn't know. Just, oh my God. Jesus Christ. Fucking YouTube. You used to be so much better than this. I stopped now. Let's find out. Well, I wanted to have a chat box up. I can't get it to come up. I can't find a little thing that says pop out chat box. I can't find anything. The internet's like instructions, directions, help. Well, I don't know if I could do that. So, it's not like I have an audience, and it's not like there's a lot of people here. Haha, subtitles. Sure, you might need subtitles, because apparently I ramble like a crazy lady at a bus station, so there goes that. La 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 la. There is supposed to be. There. There it is supposed to be. Oh my God. Why? Why? I'll be right back if you just do that. No. No, it won't. Those were lies. Lies. All of it's lies. Oh, wow. I chat. Yeah, but it's here and I need it to be popped out. I actually make progress. I am in shock. Okay. Yay, it's popped out. Thank God. Which is which? You do know which is which? Where? Well, I guess I'll just do that and move it around this place. Ain't nobody gonna come, so I ain't gonna worry about that. I wonder if I can. This is taking forever to set up. Jeez Louise. Hee. Can I close that now? Oh, I hate doing this. Why am I doing this? I do not know, because I am dumb. Yay. Well, that was handy. Okay. Looks like it's going. Let me check. Okie dokie then. I have decided to do this chat, this thing, even though no one's there to hear, because Heavenly Bride. I haven't worked on it in a very long time, and then I picked it back up again, but I came back to it with a little bit more maturity and more skills, and so I have found myself going back to the old chapters and revising, adding, staring at panels I really, really hate and am embarrassed by, and redrawing entire sections. This should be wine. This should be wine. I have done so many sections. This should be wine. Oh, and this is one of the new sections. This is actually the last panel of a section that I am currently redoing in chapter 3. Yes, chapter 3. This started out with me just making new, prettier, more professional looking covers and falling down the rabbit hole, I suppose. That's some of the original art because I mean, if I redid the art from top to bottom, considering I'm supposed to be working on chapter 11 right now, I'd never get there again. But some things came up, and that's why I'm here, because I want to talk about the writing process. To be specific, I want to discuss character development, something that I'm always telling a friend of mine who aspires to write is very important. And when it came to the Heavenly Bride, I did it in a hurry a long time ago because I was completely overwhelmed with the story, and Lord have mercy, I rushed. I had written the script that I had in a year. There's an old 80s term, writer's split personality. I don't know what they call it now. And it was like the character had come forward and narrated the story to me. And I'm not the only author to say this. Quite a few have said this, and they're not afraid to say it. And to be quite honest, when you're write or create like this, you just have to learn to not give a damn when someone calls you nuts, even if he's your own father, after following the medicine ways that he handed down to you. So, this is for those who don't know the Heavenly Bride. This is Lung, and let me tell you something that I find actually really frustrating about this book. The Heavenly Bride, if there is a trope, it glomped it. Lung is a celestial, what you would call a dragon, but in my people's culture, we have a dragon-like spirit that we call a snake. He's a big snake, and in some tribes he was a good guy, in some tribes he was not such a good guy, ally. It was, it was not black and white before Christianity came. And so he's one of them. And he was just kind of hanging out, hanging around this world that he had to come across in his cosmic journey, and accidentally got sucked into this body, which is this really gorgeous looking thing right here. And but in the World Akashik, which is a color universe, in the rules of the World Akashik, when you are a walk-in, another term that I like to say is wanderer. When you're a wanderer and you come in, because it's not originally your body, you were not born to it, the body has a lot of trouble sustaining your spirit, and so the body turns to vampirism. It's kind of like a spiritual form of cannibalism to keep your soul from going crazy from hunger and you dying and stuff. And there's more than one kind of vampire. Now, I do know about the Vampire Codex. I do know about it. I've never read it. Okay. I've known a couple of vampire houses in my life. They never really imparted a whole lot of information on how they worked to me. In the way back when the chat lists and everything were big, they did post stuff, but You know, the truth is, some of the vampirism in the World Akashik is me just kind of sitting around and driving and pondering really deeply. And one day I learned about Charlotte Bronte, author of Wuthering Heights, and her siblings. And I learned that they had been put into a children's home when they were very young, and I think there was more than 2 or 3. But anyway, children apparently, if they're not hugged and loved enough, because these homes would be filled to overcapacity, children will fade away. And so I came to this conclusion that children are naturally psychic, emotional vampires, because they literally require to be able to have these feelings affirmed in order to survive. And then, of course, if you aren't affirmed enough, you end up a broken, twisted person. Things might be wrong with you. Like, for example, in my case, and you know, I'm the best case, my parents literally never hugged me my entire life. And sometimes I wonder, if things had been different, would I have become president of the world? Could I have conquered the moon? I mean, you know, just the opportunities that were lost because my parents would not embrace me into their arms. I am just saying. So that's where I started to consider, well, how would the vampires in the World Akashik work? And you have different manifestations, just like children tend to manifest their own little personalities in their own way. So I guess you could say that a lot of my vampire world is based on this scientific oddity of life. Well, Lung is, heaven forbid that he be original, has to drink blood. And so he's I think they call it sanguine. He's a blood drinker. He's sanguine. And I might come up with a better term someday. He's a leech. He's a leech. So Lung is a leech. And he doesn't like it. He's not very happy about it. By chapter 3, he's having to deal with it. That's his best friend, Taos, who is one of the main characters in Akashik, which Akashik was started before Heavenly Bride. Heavenly Bride was meant to be a side story. So a lot of Heavenly Bride was centered mostly from Lung's point of view. He was the one narrating it. He's the one that told it to me. And then I started to get around chapter 8 or 9, and I realized I had to start adding in other points of view because there was things being missed that he just didn't see because he wasn't involved in everything. And the more that started to happen, the more I was having to flesh out other characters, and then honest to God, and that's why I'm here, it happened. I wrote how a specific alien species in the world, riends, had sex, for lack of a better way of putting it. I wrote their mating habits down, and from there I began to write their customs, and I began to write, oh gosh, it was an avalanche. And all of a sudden, next thing I knew, after I don't know how many years of struggling to get this, because this thing's actually done using 3D. Let me show you what I'm rendering right now. This is the final panel for chapter 3. I'll show you some of the current art that is replacing some of the old art. That's because, let me tell you, that page that this is replacing, I want to bury it. I want to erase it from history, and I never want any of you to see it, like, ever. But where was I? So I wrote this about riends, and I began to flesh out the riends society. You know, when it comes to that, a lot of stuff about the riends are things I've had in my head since I was like 10 years old. And some of the stuff in heaven, I mean, you write what you know. And I've looked into a lot of stuff and studied some things. So I've got like religion and stuff I learned when I was going to school for my degree. And then there's the brief stint where I tried to care about ufology. I tried really hard. I tried to care about ufology because when I was going to school for my degree, the people that I really desperately would have loved to be friends with, because I was more of a people pleaser then than I am now, somehow it got around school that I was into UFOs. And people were telling me these weird stories about how they were abductees and friends with Greys and stuff. And I'm politely listening, and because I believed in the spirituality of my people, so I wasn't going to laugh at someone. And And I've known a lot of weird people who actually have said I was out there for believing in the spirituality of my people, and because okay, I didn't know. It took me a couple of years to figure it out that they were making fun of me. That somehow they had decided that I believed in UFOs, and at that time, the only thing I knew about UFOs was from UFO documentaries I watched with my parents as a kid. So basically, it was ship fly over, ship do something, ship fly off. I didn't know about people who were contactees, or I didn't know about the human mutilation phenomena, which is a scary ass phenomena. I didn't know about sightings in the seas. I did know about the Bermuda Triangle because of something that happened to my dad. But these things that they were like accusing me of being into and stuff, I didn't know anything about it. And there was this something that one of my teachers used to constantly talk about, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, that was one hell of a weird self-fulfilling prophecy, because by the time I graduated, I was like, well, shit. I mean, I'm already a bad guy for it. I might as well look into it. I got a job very briefly as a field archaeologist, and it didn't get to last long because of the rumors and the backstabbing, and they thought I was crazy, and it was like, I don't know what you mean by a light ship. I know now. So maybe it was meant to be, because the things I learned, some of it actually is in the World Akashik now, and so but when it comes to the Lyrians, a lot of their society is stuff that I already had in my head from when I was a kid, because I've been telling myself stories since I was very small. But when I sat down and I developed the society, even though they are not major players, the world just suddenly exploded in my face, and this was a couple of months ago. So then I started sitting down and working on other parts and fleshing out other characters that were tied to the Lyrians. And then I started fleshing out characters that I thought were already fleshed out. And then I sat down and started fleshing out a side character because I wanted him to be in one little scene, and he fleshed out so hard he became a major character. I had one of the villains decide he wasn't going to be a villain anymore and change so hard that I am desperately in love with him now. I would tap that. I had already went through the throes that they say to do of world building, where you sit down and you do a beat sheet, and you I don't know, write out their favorite food, and I'm going to go ahead and add this new panel. Write out their favorite food and everything. I had done all that, but apparently it was not enough for this particular story, because things really, really exploded. I have been pulling like 12 to 16, 18-hour days sometimes, because I'm so desperate to get this story and get the parts that I clearly missed where they need to go. Now, people who, because the Heavenly Bride started as a webcomic, and people don't like it when you change, and of course this means that the art style is jumping all over the place, because I cannot do, look at that horrible, horrible stuff. Oh my god! Oh, why am I keeping that? I am not redoing it. I don't have time. I don't have time. La 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 la. I can't see you. People don't like it. They like to watch the progression, but I need to add parts in the story that weren't there. It's really important to me that I tell a very good story as a wordsmith, and I don't know if this is completely being a wordsmith, but as a smith of tales, a tellsmith. It's important to me that this story presents itself the way it's supposed to be. Now, as of yesterday, 2 of my characters have decided, you know what? We're gonna fall in love. And I'm like, please don't do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that, but you can't do that to me. I have plans for you. We're gonna do that. Oh my god. But that's okay, because that particular aspect doesn't happen until way after the story. And I don't have to write it. So I have... I have learned a lesson on the world building that, my goodness, you see these stories that other people have done, and they're so deep, and I wonder if we need to go beyond the beat sheets. Do we need to go beyond the beat sheets when developing our characters? That is the question. Wow, let's close that. I think so. I'm just checking. I knew the only was going to be there. And I knew not to open that, but I did. So now I'm going to go to this. And I'm just kind of going to work in silence. And if I think of something else I need to say, I'm going to say it. Because I will be keeping this up. But for some people who used to come that like to tell you how to do your stuff, I will not be doing speed art. I will not be speeding things up to make it faster for your brain. So, you know, I'm just going to sit and work. And I don't have to share my process with you. I don't have to share with you how I make these pages, how I go from this 3D work to that. I don't have to. But if you are interested in seeing at least part of it, then it only makes sense that I go at speed so that some of you can follow, because I don't know about you, but it is incredibly frustrating when you're trying to see something somebody did and it's going too fast. So I'm going to shut up. I'll probably shut up mostly now. Maybe I'll start singing la 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 meow meow. No, that would be copyrighted. What can I sing that's free of copyright? Uh-oh. Ah, okay. If you're wondering what program this is Daz Studio. It's the latest version. Yes, that is a 3D render. Oh, I forgot to drape his hair. I would forget to do that. The shaders I use are not the new shaders that Daz is so proud of. First off, I don't think that those shaders do pretty renders. I'm sorry. I'm sure if I had time to sit and play with it, that I could make it do that. But I don't really have time, and the people that are doing it, you know, the system's pretty new. I have been rendering like this since before Dragon Prince. Sorry, I was here first. I have been rendering like this since before Ruby. Sorry, I was here first. I have, these shaders I use are called PW Toon, which is one of their first, and I prefer them. Because I have a set that, well, I've got a nice look to it, and I like the look I've got to it. Oh, you see how that'll drape well right there. If you don't know what I mean by draping, I'm going to make it fall. That's one good thing about Daz. It used to be I struggled with this. Oh my gosh, and the renders were just terrible. But they started adding. I think this is front left. Yeah, it is. They started adding stuff, and when they added this, which is called D-Force, I was like, oh my god, yay! He's thinking hard. Caption this. I wonder if the mac and cheese is poisonous. I poisoned myself today. I took a medicine that didn't agree with me, and I was throwing up all over the place. So it's a miracle I'm doing this right now. Yeah. I wonder if that hot new nurse is free tonight. Let me think. What else? Why did the chicken cross the road? Okay, let's tell the hair to drape. Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. Come on, you can drape. You can do eat. You can do eat. I actually have regrets on his jacket. I wanted to be able to drape it as well, but all it does is melt. It's an older prop, and it doesn't really work well with the D-Force. I have regrets. I have so many regrets. But he's about to change jobs in this particular part of the book, so I will cope. But I have regrets. Please drape already. I am asking you humbly. Asking you with pleases, lots and lots of pleases. I am begging you, please. So yeah, the tropes. We've got a dragon turned into a vampire. He is also one of the winds in my people's legends. He is the East Wind. And I had chose that very carefully. I was careful with that because I want to... This is a dystopian story, so a lot of my culture is in it because I want it there. Like, they use a couple of Algonquian words, not always of the same language. Like, one Algonquian word is Lenape, another one is Western Abenaki. And I have reasons for that. But he's one of the winds, and that kind of makes him like a prince. And he was betrothed to this princess, but it isn't a princess like you think of monarchy. It's she was Lyran, and the Lyrans worked just a smidgen like honeybees, so she was a queen bee. And she was a super queen bee because they were playing with genetics, and they produced this super queen bee they did not know what to do with, and it didn't drape properly because heaven forbid that it do like I need it to. And that was a long time ago. So we have this dragon prince that is in love with essentially a princess, except that she's dead as far as he knows, so you could say that she was taken away, and you know, and yeah, those kind of tropes. And some of it, I mean, it's just completely all subconscious. I was just trying to create this unique world, and yet the tropes are still there. But hey, this is an American style manga, and in manga these tropes are welcomed and alive and well, and people acknowledge that they love them, and they aren't trying to like beat you to death with look how different I can be. So I'm okay with this. It's just, oh my gosh, really, guys, because you know, I have managed to beat some of the tropes out. There was a swimming scene. I have managed to successfully kill it with fire. So it's gone. That at least is gone. Why isn't it? It's supposed to. I mean, I could hand draw it in, and I probably will end up doing that. I wish it wouldn't do that because I like having the hair fall, because then I got this natural looking fall. I'll do that and see if I can get it to drape again. Okay, one more time, Lung. You ready, buddy? Quit that! Oh, I'm probably going to sound like I've got Tourette's on occasion, because my cats like to tear up my walls! Cashmere! No. Oh God, bad kitty, come here. You're being bad. You're being a bad girl. Here's your purr cutie. Yes, I'll be feeding you guys and everything as soon as I get this last panel done. It won't take me long. You guys know I'm clever and smart and quick. When it comes to the art style of Heavenly Bride, because of the realism that Daz keeps running to, even the latest hair props just don't look right. So I have to look for older hair props that use what they call hair cards. A hair card is this thing right here. It's basically a rectangle with textures on it to make it look like hair. So it's a card. The hair props that Daz has been putting out with our new tune system might work with Akashik if I pull them into Blender and do a lot of tweaks on them, because there are certain shapes that are required to get things to render properly, which is why some renders just don't look right. They just don't, because heaven forbid that one here, you know, bah. Nope. No, I want that back. And lower front left. Lower front left. No, that looks terrible. Okay, we'll try it one more time. I probably should get one of the hair props and see if I can make it look decent, but the rendering process for Akashic is very much slightly different from Heavenly Bride, because Heavenly Bride does that look mostly. Sometimes I use color. I will not tell you why, but I will tell you that it is a Monpu, or a Mare Monpu, because this is American. And if you don't know, Monpu are little symbols and stuff, just, you know, like if you see somebody with swirly eyes or whatever. I use a Mare Monpu because not all of the Japanese Monpu is culturally relevant. So I also use the language of flowers. But so I could play with the new props that Daz Studio has put out. I could. And but do I have time? To be quite honest, on my timeline, I should have finished this particular story by now. I had been trying to work on a computer that was far too weak for far too long, couldn't do anything, finally got fed up. I mentioned on my Patreon that I was planning on buying a new old computer because the new computer is just really silly. I just want a lot of cores because what I use uses cores. And a fan stepped up and helped out. And then another fan gave me a bunch of drives so I can make backups of the, because let me tell you, I have a lot of 3D props. I have been collecting 3D props since like the late 90s. I have props that you won't find anywhere anymore, and you know what? I don't even know if I have them. But I'm often glad that I did, because when I'm looking for something, I'll go through my library and it's like, I don't remember getting that, but I'm glad I got it, and I'll use it. Are we through draping? Can I carry on with my life? Yes? Okay, fine. I'll just make do. That is the wrong camera. That is also the wrong camera. That is not the right camera. Oh my god, I don't remember what camera! Ah, so much better. Let me save this. La 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 la. La 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 la. Lord, please let me save you. Extra shaded to see how it looks. Oh, see now, like his foot's like. Oh, this is crazy talk. Okay. Good Lord. Put him in the chair so I can move everything. Good Lord. Come on. Oh, no. Ah. I don't know about you, but I've got my feet like that right now. I'm gonna move this chair. La, 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 la. I hope that works right. Shut up, cat. You're just doing that because you know I'm busy. La, la, la. I'm trying to make it look like we're feeding. Still in the fucking lung, honey. Feet don't do that normally. If they are doing that, you're either part of the Philadelphia experiment or you're in pain. I'll put you there, and this means that we've got to move your computer. So there we go. Now you're like chilling, looking at the screen, pondering. Right? Right. You're good, right? Let's see, savey wavy. I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't have that lonely feeling I'm looking for. Let's see. A little bit more lonely looking. Doo-doo. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Let's see how that looks, shall we? Oh, the divider's missing. Oh my, here divider, I love you. Uh-oh, my divider's not there. This has made me sad. Where is, there it is. Oh, that's so much better! Yeah, you've got to really, really go over your scene with a fine-tooth comb sometimes. Let's see how it looks. I'm really excited over the villain that fleshed himself out. Now, sometimes when I'm futzing with something, I'll use, it's a little AI program. It's based off of ChatGPT, but then again, what's not? And now, I don't use it to write my scenes. I don't. Okay? But one thing I have discovered that it's especially handy for is you can plug in scripts and rundowns of your characters, and it will psychoanalyze them for you. And I discovered this by accident because I will use it to help me clean up a script. Like, I'll write my script, and it's, you know, I'm a lazy script writer. Let me show you my script, my script writing. This is my lazy script writing. I don't have it divide things into panel, so it'll already say panel, and I'll have it basically clean stuff up for me. I finished writing a scene with one character. His name's Ricky, and I typed like 180 words a minute, so I automatically went back into the old IRC chat mode, and I just kind of casually typed. I don't know why Ricky did this. I guess he's just being mean. And the program responded with, "Oh, contraire, mon frere," and spit out with examples from my script going all the way to the beginning why my character was a sociopath. And I was like, wow. So when I learned this and this came to light, I started really paying attention to my character's behavior. I had not realized that I had written a sociopath. I actually had based him on most of the people that I had met in life in sub-communities. Back when I was trying to find my way, I have hung around some pretty weird people, and you know, how you meet that person that hits your buttons and gets you upset and then blames you, and everybody is all against you because you're standing there very vocalizing very loudly. You're not putting up with it, but they're standing there looking meek and harmless, and so therefore they must be the one that's abused. Yeah. So I was basing him off of those people, and it was like, he's a sociopath. Wow. So then I start going on and on, and it's like, and so then I asked, well, is he also narcissistic? And it was like, well, actually, yes. And here's a million examples of why Ricky's narcissistic. So I have this narcissistic sociopath in my story. And I probably shouldn't have told you that, but I don't expect any of you to read the book. I think I have like one reader. That was amazing to me. And whenever I got this kernel about his personality and was able to see how it worked out, the whole world opened up. All of a sudden I had this creature with motive and desire, and it wasn't your normal motives and desires and things that were going to happen because of him. And I am so excited by this story, whether anybody reads it or not. As a result, thank you, Ricky, for being a crazy son of a bitch. So yeah, I have to say that the beat sheets are a good start, but I genuinely wonder if they're enough at this point. I had to figure out an alien species sex life, start developing their culture. That alone gave me motive to the entire book, and you'd have to read the book to understand what I mean. And then as I was going, I always had trouble with my villains. They would Moriarty on me, you know, they would just disappear. Ricky is my first villain to not disappear. so that I wonder if giving them clinical diagnosis is it a number two. I actually mostly have turned to AI to chat about it because nobody in my life wants to talk about it. I've tried all my friends. I've tried them all, and one person will talk to me about it frequently, but she's also my unofficial helper. Another person will talk about it, but I've been trying not to beat her to death with the information. So, but she also writes mostly for role plays, so she's able to say things like, "Hey, well, how'd your character save the cat?" And then I was reminded, "Oh yeah, to save the cat, you got to have your character save the cat." So one of my characters didn't have that fleshed out about them, and I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to ruin that character for anybody. I want you guys to love him as much as me, but without any spoilers. So, well, that's going to be rendering in a few minutes. I guess I'll take care of some dirty, nasty cat boxes. Yes, I am moving, Kiki. The world is starting to move forward for you. For you. Go fill your house, you king Henry, bring them here to me. John and Slay's the greyhounds, the maid's heart will soar. Take them off those scandals, but never hide it there. No, you can't go in there, parakeet. guys ready yet? Are you? No, you're not? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I got parakeets. Woo! Second row, you want to watch this? Oh my God. I love not being able to breathe half my life. Set this ready. Whee! Alrighty. This is panel 3, I believe. Okay. Yeah. Wish I could like pause streaming. I'll be back.